You're listening to Voices of English, and this is me, Nidal Al Hassan. Today, we are diving into a fun and fascinating topic: language and video games. How do video games actually help people learn English? And what's the connection between gaming and communication skills? To talk about this, I'm joined again today by the one and only Mohammed Alderaija, who is both passionate about gaming and curious about language learning. Mohammed, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nidal. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Let's jump right in. To kick things off, Mohammed, how do you see video games influencing the way people learn English today?
Well, first of all, good day to you and everyone. I would like to share that spent many years video games, since the days of old, back in 8-bit consoles and memory cards.
Sorry, and
I can confidently say that I have some experience to share when it comes to gaming, video games as well. So for video games, yes, I believe that video games help people to learn English in a really natural way. Like you're playing, you're having fun, and at the same time, you're actually reading, listening, and even speaking English sometimes, especially when you're connected online and so on. So without thinking about it, yeah, I think of it like as a positive lesson that we can acquire language or new language utterances from. For example, in video games, you can find like some instructions, menus, and storylines as well, and voice acting, and you're trying to learn the pronunciation, the way they are responding to each other, the intonation as well. All of that can be acquired in terms of conversation skills. So and also talking to teammates, when you're online as well. So such utterances or such experiences, can benefit the learner through video games.
now I want to ask you another question about that.
Yeah.
In your opinion, Mohammed, what makes video games such a powerful environment and a powerful tool for practicing language compared to traditional classrooms?
Well, it's all about engagement. Engagement in general, like to be engaged, which leads, to improvement. Whenever you're engaged in any activity, through repetition, it will lead eventually to improvement,
Yep.
aka in video games, leveling up, when you level up.
Yep.
So in classrooms, you're learning about English. In games, you're using English to solve puzzles, to survive, to win. All of these combined together.
And you
So,
find yourself like you have to learn specific words and look them up in a dictionary so you can level up to the next.
yes, from my own point of view,
It works like a motivation, right?
it is a motivation. Like there is a motivation. No one wants to memorize just verbs, but you will learn what, for example, like the word revive. When your character that you're playing with, is eliminated in the battlefield or in the scene, or you lose as that character loses.
Exactly.
You need to revive him through certain items in the video games. All right. So that the word revive back in the day in the 90s, I used to read it like, what do they mean by the word revive? What does it refer to exactly? So I had to look it up dictionary in front of you, and you start like page by page, letter by letter, until you realize that this word means that your character will be respawned back to life when you're revived, so ihya أو إنعاش, so that your character will continue the fight until they win against that evil boss or super boss, in the video game. Such terms or such vocabulary, can be acquired, it can be learned, self-taught through video games.
Mohammed, can you share a time when you or someone you know picked up a new English word or phrase while playing a game?
Oh, like many like scenes, I can actually recall, back in the day. So I would say Resident Evil, like the word inventory. When you had that inventory, you press the pause menu, and you immediately you go to the inventory section where you have like the mini list of items, and potions, and maybe ammunition, for the gun. So yeah, it was. I remember I used to play with the Leon, and and Jill Valentine from Resident Evil 3.
Mhm.
It's like, what's this inventory? They keep talking about like use the inventory, go to the inventory. I was like, again, all traditional way. Back in the day, we didn't have such super technology, easy at our hands. So yeah, dictionaries were always next to me whenever I was playing video game. So I can actually recall like some other statements or other like game over and yes, mission failed. Who did it actually like encounter that even once in your life? So yeah, they were brutal but educational at the same time. Like game over, okay, it is game over. But thank you. I've acquired like new words and new terms in English.
Video games often reward teamwork. How does this compare with working on group projects or discussions in English learning?
In English language, so we have group projects and teamwork. So
Mhm.
multiplayer, are we referring to multiplayers?
Yes, exactly.
So I would say they're very similar. Both require communication, patience as well, and strategic maneuvers and so on. Whether if it's like in a group project, normal groups, within a class, or like in a video game where you're actually connected online through multiplayer video games. So multiplayer mode. So in multiplayer games, I would say like they're more like real-time conversations, but way more fun, way more fun. Like you're giving directions, making plans, reacting fast, because the enemy is doing the same as well.
Mhm.
Like player versus player, or multiplayers, group players versus other groups. So it's all in English. It's a teamwork, but with adrenaline, like.
You learn English to survive.
Yes.
This is literally it. Yes.
So the same thing goes, for the groups, within a classroom, like classroom group projects, and like you need how to convince, for example, like in a debate session, how to convince the other party, that you're actually debating with, that your points are more accurate, or you are on the right side, and you need to prove them wrong. So yeah, and here you need it's a means of survival, but a bit different. In multiplayer games, it's much more fun, much more makes it feel natural. The difference, I would say, like in video games, you're trying to win, not just like aiming for a grade or something, So that's maybe like the whole thing. For example, I would say video games like Call of Duty, Overwatch, there's Monster Hunter as well, recently, especially with the recent updates. Amazing experience when it comes to multiplayer video games.
That's cool. Some games require reading through quests, dialogues, or storylines. Do you think this develops reading speed and comprehension in English?
100% it does, especially for reading, like in games. Reading in games, in my own point of view, it improves like the speed of processing, the terms or the words, that you're reading in front of you, like in a dialogue, or in a storyline. Why? Because you want to move on to the next line. You want to know what's happening, the progression of the story. For in terms of vocabulary, each dialogue contains new vocabulary. For example, back in the day, I used to play like the Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy series in general. It didn't have any voice acting, but still, it actually like had tons and tons of dialogues, And through these dialogues, like you can see the progression of the story, the plot twists, and the character progression as well, and the scenes developing from one scene to the other. So you had that. You're being eager to learn and to know what is next. But in order to understand that, using the dictionaries, new vocabulary, get their actual meaning in order to progress forward and keep on the right pace with the story in line. So so that you can understand the context as well. So yeah, I would say Final Fantasy. There's Zelda as well. Like all of that happened back in the days when I was a kid, like around 1996, 1997. So yeah. You could say like they were like my very first English novels to some extent. Basically, yes.
If there were badges and trophies for English learning, like a video game, what badge or a trophy would you be most proud to unlock?
I would say like probably like a fluent and casual conversation trophy or bad, like that name, like in video games they have such names, like survival of the fittest, like unbreakable spirit or something like that. You can, depending on the gaming context itself. And here, since it's related to English language learning, like Duolingo. So I would say like one trophy should be say like fluent in casual conversations in English, or like being to chat comfortably like without being interrupted or without overthinking. Also, we have watched a full movie, with no subtitles. That one as well, can be like quite the achievement, because you're focusing on enhancing your listening skills and listening comprehension as well of the context in front of you in the movie. So yeah.
Can you tell us 5 keywords that we have learned today in our conversation?
All right. I've already mentioned this. Number one is inventory, because I still remember this as one of my very first words I've learned through gaming.
Another synonym for inventory, probably a storage?
A storage, yes. List of items. Yes. It is used in adventure and survival games usually, a collection of items it means, and an inventory or a storage that you're managing.
Okay.
Yeah. Number two is the word quest as well. Usually we can see it like in RPG games, role-playing games, where we mean like open world and so on. We have like Zelda, The Witcher as well. And yeah, it means like a mission or a goal that you're actually given to finish the task. So you have a quest that you need to finish, going from point A to point B, cross that mountain. That's
a group of steps that you need to accomplish.
Exactly. Number three, we have the word dialogue, and this is focusing exactly on basically, we're focusing on the written context in video games, and through that dialogue, we're learning like an enormous new terms or enormous new utterances and vocabulary.
So usually a dialogue is a script or a conversation between
two orders or more. Yes. So like conversation between characters, like common. We can find that common like in very story-rich games, like Final Fantasies as well.
Yeah.
The Witcher as well. Number four, we have the word we've mentioned earlier, level up.
Level up.
Yes. Yeah. It's used like in almost every video game, like how you level up, how you improve yourself, and how you enhance your skills.
All right.
And last but not least is teamwork. This is like the number one, not just word, but it's a rule in the multiplayer video games. They say teamwork. We need to focus on teamwork. Yeah, stop playing like individually. Like we need to focus on teamwork to finish that mission or to reach that goal.
Yeah, it's like individuals working together.
Yes,
for the same
to achieve a goal,
or to
achieve a goal, or for that same purpose.
Mohammed, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and experiences with us.
You're more than welcome, and I hope that you and the rest of the listeners actually benefited from what I have shared today regarding video games. One final message that I would say, it's like from heavy texted RPG games, back in the 90s, and today's global multiplayer world, video games have been, teaching us English without us even realizing it. So all in all, they're fun, motivating, immersive as well, and social. So everything a language class wish it could have.
Thanks to Misrata Radio channel team for their support and making this possible. Thanks to Miss Marwa Safar and Miss Asma Azarrouk for their endless support. Again, thank you so much, Muhammad, and to our listeners. Thank you for tuning in to Voices of English. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to share it with your friends. And as always, keep the conversation going. Take care.